Hi everybody, Mary here. We're here for another yoga class, so thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to need a strap and then we'll also use a sturdy chair. So if you don't have one that you can pull from the dining room or if you're just not in a room that you can't use a chair, then when we get to that portion, if you want to go to where your couch is, just pause the video and your sofa will work, a big heavy chair will work. It's just to help you with your balance. It's not required to be used, but it's an option that you can use. Also, with your strap, if you don't have one, you can use a necktie. You can use a very long towel. Anything that you can kind of get this arm span kind of stretched out a little bit to help you stretch. So we're going to get started. I'm going to move my chair out of the way. Come on back to your mat and just put your strap on the floor somewhere close by there. All right, we're going to start with the breath and the position of the body. So for mountain pose is where we're going to start. Let's begin with the feet right under your hips. Kind of roll a little bit forward and back, a little bit side to side, and then kind of find your center there. We're going to contract the thighs. We feel the kneecaps lift up. Tilt the tailbone slightly down. Take your ribs off of your hip bone so you feel this lower spine grow. Take an inhale, roll your shoulders up. As you exhale, release your shoulders down. Take the arms up, breathe in deep. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Pause here. And as you pause here, feel your collarbones opening up a little bit more. Lengthen the back of the neck. And just notice, sometimes when you lengthen the back of the neck just a little bit, you feel your chin come down slightly. We want the chin line, the jaw to be parallel to the floor instead of tilted up or tilted down. Let's take a breath in. Exhale, release your arms by your sides now, palms forward. See if you can open up the collarbones a little bit more. We're still very strong in the legs, so press through your feet down into the earth. Feel as though you're trying to lift your hips away from your feet. And then continue that stretch up the spine, out through the crown of the head. Keep the shoulders down from the ears and feel that reach out through your fingertips. So in our mountain pose, we are very strong. We're not just standing here. It's a very active position. You want to feel your muscles engaged, which means that they're contracting to some degree. So you have your muscles wrapping around bones in your arms, in your legs. Your core is staying engaged because you're tilting down the tailbone, lifting the rib cage up. And sometimes it requires us to feel the ribs to actually move to the center a little bit. So if you just feel, maybe put your hands on your sides. As you exhale, feel that wrapping together of the front of your ribs. Sometimes it helps you feel the contraction into the belly. So we're going to take another deep breath in through the nose. Exhale through open mouth like a sigh. Let your shoulders release down a little bit more. Let's take one more deep breath in. Exhale through your nose. Now see if we can continue breathing in and out through the nose, but you can always breathe through your mouth if you need to. Let's take the arms overhead. Nice inhale. Exhale, hands to the heart center. A little bend to the knees. This is down into chair pose. So in your chair pose, we're going to send the hips back. I'm going to turn sideways. So the hips go back. It's like a squat. You don't want your knees too far forward, so when you look down, you should be able to see your toes. You should be able to wiggle your toes, weights back into your heels. We're going to circle arms down, around, and up. Stand tall into mountain pose. Reach your body up, not your arms, but your spine. Exhale, down into your chair. One more time, circle around. Standing tall, mountain pose. Grow tall through the crown of the head. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Pause here. Take your arms by the sides, just a little kind of a swing forward and back. I'm going to turn back to face you, but you keep going here. And then leave your arms at the sides, still in our chair pose, keeping the core engaged. We're just going to flick our wrists. It's kind of like you have water on your fingertips. You're just trying to shake that off. And breathe. And now release, soften those hands and the wrists. We're going to circle arms around and up, stand tall. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Pause here, breathe. Maybe feel tingling in your fingers or your hands. That's energy flow in the body. That's a good thing to have. Let's circle arms around it up one more time. Hands to your heart center. Breathe out. All right, if you're not at the top of your mat, go ahead and go there now. So I'm going to turn sideways. Arms rounded up, breathe in. Exhale, hands to your heart center. Hands to your thighs, bend your knees, sending those hips back so we can flatten out the back. Take an inhale, exhale, tuck under your tailbone, creating a cat back. So round your shoulder blades open, chin comes to your chest. And as you inhale, come back to the flat back. So work with your breath. As you exhale, draw that belly up, arch your spine, tailbones under chin to chest. Inhale into the flat back again. One more time, exhale into the cat. Good stretch for the upper back, lower back, and release back into that flat back. Take another inhale. As you exhale, round forward a little bit more. Maybe take your feet a little wider if that feels better. And we're just going to take one leg straight while the other knee bends. And so as you alternate from one side to the other, your hands are either on your shins or you can bring them back to your thighs if that's just too intense of a stretch yet. Your hips move side to side with that stretch of the straight leg. Kind of open the hip a little bit out to the side. Let's take one more deep breath in as you're moving your legs. Exhale, come back to your knees nice and soft. Hands are going to work down to the floor. Let's come down to the knees. Let's continue with our cat back. So make sure hands are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Breathe in. Exhale, draw that belly up to your spine, arching your spine up. Let your shoulder blades open out to the sides of the ribs. Inhale, release your spine to the floor. Really press the belly down. Get that arch in the back. Tailbones up, eye gaze forward. And then tuck under the tailbone. Belly comes up to the spine. Try to press your hands away from your knees and just see how that feels. And then release the spine the other direction. This time, pull your hands into your knees. Open your collarbones. Make sure not to put a kink in the back of the neck by looking up too high. Just a little bit. Keep that long neck. One more time each direction. Exhaling into the cat, chin to your chest. And then release back into cow pose. Nice belly pressed to the floor. Tailbone is up. Come back to neutral spine. So we're going to work a little bit into spinal balance. I'm going to slide back just a tiny bit. All right, so right leg goes back. Flex the foot and lift. Options to walk your left hand out, keep it there on the floor, or you can lift your hand up as well. So as you hold that position there, we're trying to keep the hips level without the hip dropping or having the hip go up too high. I'm going to turn a little bit more here so I'm on full screen. There we go. All right, so we're in that lifted position. I still didn't get it. All right, so if you're good here, stay here. If you can, though, try to bring your knee, your elbow together, round your spine. I usually point my toe so I don't stub my toe on my mat. And then extend it back out and flex the foot. Good. Bring it in, exhaling. Whoops, almost lost my balance there. And take it back out. Good. We're going to do one more time. Bring in, exhale, round your spine, and extend back out. Really flex that back foot. And bring the hand to the floor. We're going to switch the other side. So the left leg goes back, flex your foot and lift. Right hand goes forward. We're trying to get the front arm parallel to the floor the best you can. Remember, you want to try to keep your hips level. Don't want it tip up or down. If you have a mirror, that really helps, or just put your hand back there. You might be able to feel if you have your hips tilting. And then we're going to bring the knee and elbow together. Now, if you don't have the arm lifted, just bring your knee in. Tuck your chin around your spine. Extend it back out. Flex the foot. Push it away. Here we go. Bring it in. Exhale. Inhale, extend out long. Reach out to those fingertips and your heel. Bring it back in. And extend back out. And then bring it back down to the floor. Tuck your toes under. I'm going to turn back sideways here to see if we can bring our knees away from the floor. A little bit of a hover, maybe a couple inches, maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. If you're way up here, that's where you're starting. That's awesome. Eventually, we're going to get those knees closer and closer the stronger that you get. Let's take one more deep breath in. Exhale, release it out. Soften the knees back down to the floor, coming into down dog. So press your hands out in front of your shoulders. Toes are tucked under. Float the knees up again. Shift your weight back with your knees really, really bent. Stay here for a moment and just see how this feels. Let's stretch out through the arms. So press into your thumb and index finger on your hand. That gets the weight out of your wrist. Lengthen from your wrist out through the elbows, out through the shoulders, out through the back, out through the tailbone. And then straighten out your legs a little or a lot. If your neck is feeling a little bit tense, you can just kind of turn it a little bit left to right. You can go with the shake of yes. And you can alternate one heel down and the other. Maybe hold one heel down a little bit longer to get that good stretch into the calf. Sometimes just get so worked into the legs we forget to stretch, especially the calves. And then we're going to take both heels, lift them up so you get a stretch through your toes. Breathe in. Exhale, sink your heels down. They may not touch the floor. That's not the goal. The goal is just to feel your stretch. So bend your knees if you need to feel a good stretch. Inhale into the balls of the feet to stretch the toes. Exhale, release it down. These are slow. These are not very fast movements because you want to feel a stretch as you move. So if you connect it with the breath, it helps slow everything down. We're going to go one more time. Exhale, release it down. Nice. So your option is three-legged dog. If you want to move your feet together, you can feel a little more balance. You can stay right here or join me and lift your left leg up behind. Try to keep your hips square. If you're turning your hips, we're not there yet. We're just lifting the leg straight up. Exhale. Let's bring the foot forward. So if you can't get it forward all in one sweep, then you can put a hand back there to kind of move it up there. Let's put it between the hands. If you have your strap close by, go ahead and take a hold of that. And we're going to come up into a warrior two. So just take that strap around your, or on top of the front leg, arms out parallel to the floor. So again, when you get into a warrior two posture, your hips are going to be more forward, tailbone still slightly tucked like mountain pose. Lift your spine tall, shoulders relaxed. And nice strong arms again. Reach out long through your fingertips. We just bring that knee so it's a little bit over the ankle or a little bit on your side of your ankle. If you feel the knee is over the toes, then you need to come back a little bit. You want to see your big toe on the inside of that front knee too. Press into the outside of your back foot. But now I'm going to ask you to do one more thing. Press your feet down to the mat and squeeze your feet together. That's going to engage those inner thighs. So we're going to take an inhale, bring the front knee in a little bit. Exhale, sink into it. We're going to do three more. Inhale, bring it in. Exhale, sink down. You decide how far you move on these. If at any time your knee is going past your toes, you need to take your feet further apart. Two more. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Keep pressing down to both the front and the back leg. One more time. Breathe in. Remember, we're sideways on this. You can look over your front hand, though. As we sink down, we're going to take our eye gaze. You can look to the center. You can look to the back. See if you feel a stretch in the neck that feels good for you. Now, if any time that leg gets tired, bring it up a little bit, but try to stay with a knee bend of some kind. Take one more deep breath. Exhale, let it go. Bring the eye gaze back to the front. Nice. Just bring that front knee in. Take a hold of the strap. Bring it behind your body. All right, we're going to keep the elbows slightly bent. We're going to keep the wrists slightly bent as well. Know where that buckle is so it doesn't hit you in the head. We're going to come back into our warrior two legs and straighten out your arms so your wrists might be straight. Or maybe you choose to straighten out your wrist to kind of feel how the wrists are doing today. So we got that stretch added in. So with the strap behind us, we're able to take our arms back a little bit when you straighten your elbows. They'll go even further back if you straighten out your wrist. Maybe your wrists are too close together so you can take them apart. You adjust this to where it feels good for you. I'm going to turn sideways. So this is the direction that we've got our arms going on our stretch. So elbows bent, wrists are bent. I straighten out my elbows, I straighten out my wrists. So they're going back. Arms going back. Get that nice stretch through the front body. Now we're going to take a little bend in the elbows, reach up and back to reverse warrior. Back hand can rest on the back leg, other arm reaching up to the sky. So our goal is the top arm this time. So you can adjust how much slack you have on the strap to bring your arm behind you. And then we turn sideways again. So here we go. We got the arm coming back. Arm is up by the ear and is stretching back. Going straight back behind you. If that feels good, you can stay there. Or bring your arm straight up above, and this time just kind of bring it back behind you. Now with this, it's a little bit more difficult with the strap, but you could put it behind you. Let me turn around. So the strap is behind you. Oops, there we go. So the arm is going back behind you. You're kind of helping that arm back. We're going to get into another stretch in just a moment. See how this feels though. Kind of play with the other arm, see where it needs to go. And then we'll bend the top elbow, bring the strap down behind. Or if you'd rather go hand to the elbow, we can do that as well. Okay, we're going to take another breath on this. Exhale, release the arm straight up. Keep the back hand a hold of the strap. Bring the strap back out. Now we're going to go to the front side. All right, so now you can rest on that front knee, or to make it more challenging, you can hover above it, or you can just straighten out your arm and press your arm against your leg. Other arm is up. So again, this is where we're going to have to play with how much slack we have in this, and I've got this twisted around my wrist. I'm going to untwist that. So straight back again. So top arm is straight all the way through your wrist. Bring it back behind you. And again, I'm just bending my bottom wrist, holding onto the strap, straightening out my wrist to bring that arm back. Get a good stretch there. Keep pressing into both your legs. It's kind of hard for this posture to kind of hold your balance there if you're not used to that, but you certainly can to challenge your core. Take one more deep breath. Exhale, bring that arm back up. Strong core, keep all the muscles engaged in your body. Bring yourself back up. And release that front knee. Turn your toes to the front. We're going to keep our arms into this nice stretch, but we're going to bring the hands behind us. Palms are going to stay up. So arms are probably right where your knees are. We're going to stretch the arms back. Get a nice little stretch. Kind of puff your chest up. Take your lower rib up to the sky. See how that stretch feels. Maybe rotate your palms to the floor. Maybe rotate them up. Go where it feels good. Take another breath. Exhale, hinge forward. We're going to take the arms to the sky. So again, go slow with the stretch forward with your arms stretched up. If you want to change the direction of your arms, take off the stretch a little bit. Rotate the palms of the hands the other direction, then come back into your stretch. I don't recommend being into a huge stretch and then rotating the palms while you're in that huge stretch. Release your stretch a little bit and then change the direction of your hands. And we'll do one more, or just hold where you feel that really good stretch. See if you have tension in your neck you're holding on to. See if you can let it go. And then to come out of this, the arms release down to the back. Just keep the strap around your back and in front of your legs. Hands come onto your thighs, soften your knees. You can round yourself up, keep your core engaged. Then we have our strap with us. We're ready to go the other direction, so turn your knee the other way. Put that strap across the thigh. Let's get our position into our legs and our arms. So we're going to have that front knee where we can see that front big toe on the inside of that knee. We're going to press our legs down and squeeze our legs together. Tailbone slightly down, spine is tall. Relax down shoulders, reach out long through the fingers. And just see, maybe that stretch feels really good without even having the strap. Let's take our eye gaze over the front fingers. Take an inhale, bring that front knee in. Slide back a little bit. Exhale, go into that stretch. Come in. Exhale. Make sure when that knee is bending, you still see the big toe on the inside of the front knee. Bring it in, because this action right here will tell you how your knee is tracking. If it's tracking inwards where it blocks the view of your knee, squeeze your buttocks to bring that knee out to the side a little bit. Hold it there. All right, let's take a hold of this strap. I'm going to take it in behind us. We're going to hold it here. Not much stretch on your arms. Let's turn our head to the back side. See how this stretch feels. Kind of having tension on this stretch makes it feel a little bit different. Hopefully it feels good. And then bring your eye gaze back to the front. All right, now we're going to take up the slack a little bit. So you bend your elbows and your wrists. Straighten out your elbows. Start with that stretch. If it's too intense, which it is for me, I'm going to release that strap a little bit. Get used to that little stretch first. And then if you want to straighten out your wrist, I'm sliding my hands along my strap because I had too much on there. Now I'm at the right stretch point. So now you can try with your head, your eye gaze looking towards your front foot or to the side or to the back. It all feels good depending where you put your head. So it's up to you what feels good today. Nice. Let's take one more deep breath in and out. Ooh, let's go into that reverse warrior. So the back hand's light on the back leg, the other arm is reaching up. So again, use your back hand, bottom hand, kind of take up that slack you need. So straight up first. Maybe put a little curve in the back, a little stretch that way. And then if you want to take the arm behind you, which means going sideways behind you, we'll stretch out that direction. You can always turn your head a different way also. But again, when you turn the body from any of the joints, including your neck, take off some of that stretch first. That way we make sure we don't injure anything. And then we're going to take that stretch behind a little bit more. So the bottom hand, I'm going to come up on that slack a little bit so I can reach my arm straight back first. So my bottom arm is coming forward. I'm exaggerating that move there so you can see there's my hand. Pulling my arm back. Again, once you get into these stretches, your body's going to say, this is the best stretch for me today. And then we're going to release it straight up. We're going to bend that elbow. So again, you can take up the slack on that strap and pull it down, or if you feel better with the other hand coming to the elbow to bring it back. Sometimes that just works better than the strap, so it just depends. Go with what works. Keep engaging those legs. If you got a little bit kind of relaxed there, just bring them back into action. Press down your feet, squeeze your feet together. Let's stay one more breath. And release, come back up. Let's bring the top arm straight up. Go ahead and find that strap behind you. So now we're going forward. I'm going to undo my straps around my wrists. All right, so coming forward, so side angle. So again, you can press that top hand, I'm sorry, I should say my front hand here, which is now by my leg. You can press those together, or your elbow can go across that thigh, or you can hover above it. Top arm, just bring it behind you. So again, you're just going to pull on the strap on the bottom to help bring that arm a little bit more behind you. Kind of play with where your eye gaze is going. Notice if your front knee is trying to press behind you, press back. If you do, maybe you feel a little stretch in your hip. Again, explore where you feel the best. Let's take another breath. Exhale, come back up. Awesome, and release your arms down to the sides. Bring your front knee in, turn it back to the front, heel toe, walk your feet back together. Let's work a little stretch with that chair for our balance. So we're going to keep the strap, bring our chair into us, or go to where you have your chair. So we're going to do dancer pose. We're going to do it with the strap. For some of us, it's just really hard to get that leg up behind us. So we're going to take that strap around the ankle and bring it up. So this is the start of our dancer pose. I'm going to get the ends of the strap even here. Sometimes you can put that little loop in there. I'm not going to do that today, but that'd be an option too. Because you can bring that, maybe if you have a long enough strap, you can go over your shoulder. And then just staying in this position, you would tilt forward to get that good stretch. And from the front side, it would look like this. And for some people, let me turn back over here. You're able to take your arm up a little bit higher. Now what would work with this, because this is just half of the strap, it's not going to be enough for me to get into the stretch I'm really looking for. Let's see if I can get this figured out here. I'm going to put my foot into this little loop that I made there. So now I have a really long strap that I can work with. So it comes up over my shoulder, it goes up above my head. So if I was able to hold my balance here really, really well, I could take both hands on that strap, lift that up to where I could go into a tilt forward position. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my balance here first, bring my hands down that strap, hold on to my balance, and now I'm going to lean forward because now I can kind of work into some balance. And I have it in the opposite hand. Sometimes that's an easier way to balance. It just depends on your body. But I have it over my head. And this gives you a stretch into the chest as well. So kind of experiment a little bit with that. Pause the video if you need to, so you and back it up if you need a little bit to see what exactly did I do again. But let's try the other side for this. I'm going to move my chair to the other side. So again, I have just this little, I have it twisted, but you have a little loop here. And put my foot through there. If you're always tight into your quads, start here. You always want your knees side by side. So again, here we go, side by side. And then if you come over the shoulder, you can go into that pivot forward position. And I turn my chair this way because I might be able to actually put my hand down to feel my balance a little bit better. Make sure it's sturdy. This is still wobbly. If I lean on the back side of that, my chair is going to fall over. But if you have a strong sofa, a sturdy sofa, that might work for you to do it that way. All right, so if I can try it this direction, I'm going to use my opposite hand to hold hand onto my chair and get a little bit deeper into this one. This is a little more steady for my chair here. Dancer pose is hard to stretch because it requires balance, but if you do a balance pose using something to help hold you up, you get into that feel of the stretch a little bit easier, a little bit better, and find balance at the same time. So at some point when I'm here, make sure I've got my weight onto my supporting leg here I'm standing on. Keep the micro bend in the knees. I can kind of practice letting go of my stability object that I have. And eventually I'm going to feel, oh, I can hold my balance now. So that's really the goal that we're going into for that. All right, let's relax that out. I'm going to take my strap off. And then one more, the hand to big toe pose. Huge intense stretch. So this one, if you take your strap, whatever you're using, around your foot this way, that will work. If you want to continue using a loop in the strap, put it around the arch of the foot. I'm going to wrap the strap around my hand a little bit here. I'm going to turn a little bit sideways. So this is hand to big toe with a straight leg. If I were to use just my fingers down to my toes, I would start here and then I would go out, but I may not be able to get there yet. So that's where the strap comes in. You don't have to reach so far. And you actually have your legs straight out in front of you. I'm not going to keep my foot in your face though. I'm going to turn sideways a little bit here. So again, micro bend in the supporting leg. You want to be tall. Remember how we started? We were pushing the foot to the floor, lifting the hips up. You're going to feel yourself grow when you do that. Keep pressing down into that leg. Stability object to help hold you in place. And this is just so you kind of get a feel for the pose, because again, sometimes our hands are just not going to reach the feet because the leg doesn't have the flexibility. Maybe the low back, your glute muscles are tight. So this is going to help you get into the pose without not being in the pose. Now you have an option on this one. Let me turn and face you again. You can take this leg out to the side, this direction. Sometimes it feels better to bend your knee in and then take your knee to the side and just hold this here. You can put your hand underneath your leg to help support your leg. Or from here, then extend your leg out. So you've got different options on that. And then you bring it back to the center and in. All right. One more challenge on this particular pose. Keep the strap on the same leg. I'm going to move my chair to the other side. And the option on this is to turn the head. And when you turn your head or when you close your eyes, it always makes a more of a challenge for the position that you're in. So for this particular one, this would be my stability object. So I'm going to switch my hand over to the other side. I'm going to extend my leg out. There I'm at my point there. So now I'm going to turn my head the same direction as my leg and just see if you can kind of let go of your stability object for that pose. Sometimes you'll see people with their arm out to the side, the arm travels back, the eye follows the fingers. That can be pretty tough to do. So if you've got your stability object, practice the eye gaze back, practice letting go. Maybe even practice with that chair coming back a little bit more. You get out in front of it a little bit more. So as you're here, you can start moving that hand back. Let me turn sideways, that'd probably be a better view. So I can move my hand back. So I get used to my twist and my hands reaching back further. So eventually I can kind of let go. Again, with this one, when you twist, you want your hips stay forward, just your ribs and shoulders turn. All right, let's try the other side. How are you feeling on that side? One leg a little bit tired? Probably when you stand on one side for a while, right? All right, so now we're going to take the other leg up, and I kind of switched my chair to the wrong side, but again, traditionally is going to be this hand. I need to move my chair anyway. Sorry. Okay, here we go. All right, so this hand to that toe. You can take the other hand across. You could do that. That's always an option. All right, so here we are. So we get our tall standing leg here, pressing foot into the floor. And we take our leg out to the side a little bit or a lot. Depends where your flexibility is in your hips. Remember your option, knee up, out to the side. Hand can go under the thigh to hold it there. Move my chair over a little bit. Okay. And back out. Then if you want to try to turn, now if I'm holding onto the foot with the same side arm, I'm not going to be able to twist too much that way. So I'm going to have to switch. And I'm going to hold my chair a little bit with that hand, arm out, rotate my ribs, my shoulders, look over that way, see how I do on this side. Practice that kind of let go, touch and go, right? Practicing that balance. We need that balance every day. We have to work on it every day. It's not easy, I know. All right, slowly come out of that. Okay, so we're going to move our stability chair out of the way. We're done with the straps. We're going to come down to the mat. And we're going to take just a moment to kind of refresh where we are. Let's get a stretch through the hips. So if you can cross both legs, do that. If only one leg will cross, take the other leg out. We're going to stretch forward to help open the hips a little bit. Legs crossed, reach forward. And press your hands to come back up, and then we'll cross the legs the other way. So if you had one leg straight out, go ahead and take the other leg out. And again, you can hold these longer. Sometimes those hips are just tight. This will help open them up. And then press your hands, protect your back as you come back up. Take a moment here, close your eyes. Feel your low rib come in just slightly as you feel that low back lift up towards the sky. Feel every vertebrae along your spine extending upwards, moving through the middle back, the upper back, extending out through the back of the neck, out through the crown of the head. Inhale, slowly lift your shoulders to your ears. As you exhale, release your shoulders down away. Let your arms rest on your legs or your hands in your lap. Release the muscles around the elbow joint, your wrists, your fingers. Soften the muscles around your eyes. As you breathe in through your nose, let the air fill the lungs all the way down to your belly and your side ribs. And as you exhale, give a little extra push of an exhale at the end of your exhalation. Get rid of the stale air. Make room for the fresh, oxygenated air. Let's take our hands to the sides as we inhale, open the eyes, lift the arms up overhead, palms together to the heart as we breathe out. One more time, hands to the sides, lifting, gathering energy, life, and goodness. And as we exhale, bringing all these good things to our hearts. And that's our class. Namaste. I hope you enjoyed that nice stretch for your shoulders and that little bit of work on the balance. Try it a little bit every day and you'll get better and better. I will see you next time. Bye.